Hello and welcome to Group Chat. I am Justin Verrier, and joining me, as always, Big Waz. We don't have Rob Mahoney on today's pod. I believe he's doing what, like a Boy Meets World watch-along series? Is that what he's prepping for? Just him and Minkus, you know?
I'm pretty sure he's out there being an intrepid reporter for the editorial side, Justin's side of TheRinger.com. You know what I mean?
We're all one crew here, you know? One crew. No, I think he actually had a wedding to get to, a Monday.
Oh, yes, wedding.
Early day wedding. So no Rob today, but we have in his stead an expert in the field that we were about to embark upon.
That's right.
Our producer Jose. What's up, Isaiah?
What's up? Excited filling for Rob today. Big shoes.
Yes. So we are doing a follow-up to last year's Gangbuster live show podcast, the Great White American Draft, or maybe I shouldn't call it the Great White American Draft, just the White American Draft.
They're great at my eyes.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Isaiah, you are now based in Boston, and
Correct,
so we felt like you would have the requisite expertise to participate.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of guys from Boston on the big board. So yeah, I think I'm good for it today.
Yes.
That's right. And we should note up front, this is not a Celtic City a plug of any sort. We are not affiliated with that documentary. It just so happens that there are a lot of white guys from Boston, and so Isaiah is going to fill in from Rob here. Waz, this is your great event of the year. This is one of your banner constructions. So how do you feel about doing this yet again?
I'm happy, and the reason why you say that, just for listeners who don't understand, is that I have this theory that the NBA would just be way more popular if we had good white guys. Better white guys, I should say. And so I'm always on the lookout for the next great, truly transcendent white player in the mold of Larry Bird and Havlicek. Notice all these guys are Celtics. And, well, Jerry West, of yesteryear. Like, I'm always on the lookout for the next great white player. And so this is something of great interest to me, because I happen to not think it's messed up that a 65% white country would want to see white hoopers. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, honestly.
Well, I mean, we are on the precipice of a new dawn in that regard, because Cooper Flagg will be joining the NBA next year. Yeah. Do you already have your scouts out there, or is he just surefire going to be at the top of this draft next year?
100% he's going to be at the top of the draft. I tend to not pay attention to this draft board stuff until June, literally on a normal basis. But because Cooper Flagg had so much buzz as an AAU guy, high school guy, I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to go to Duke and actually fulfill that. By all indications, he's exceeded all expectations and looks like legitimately the next great NBA player. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. We're on the dawn of a new era, I guess.
Thank God.
Or at least when it comes to this batshit insane project that we're embarking upon for the second time for whatever reason. But I'm excited, if only because I think it does speak to the lack of depth of this type of player, I guess we'd say. I feel like I'm just tripping over landmines here, but we'll just get into it. This year we'll do it a little bit differently. I think because there's not, as Waz kind of alluded to, a lot of heft at the top of the draft, not a lot of all-star players these days. And so Rob actually suggested we do things a little differently this year. This year, in addition to drafting only white American NBA players, we each get 2 European white players, almost in the same way that the EuroLeague does by naturalizing just players from abroad. They get 2 spots in order for players who just aren't citizens of that country. And so, yes.
I think this is important too, to get just only kind of serious here. In that, I think the reason why we have a dearth of white American players in the NBA, and I have done no peer-reviewed research on this, guys, but I think there's just a general sense out in our country that basketball is a quote-unquote black sport. So I think a lot of white guys that would be perfectly good athletes and become perfectly good NBA players are being like, I'd rather not play basketball because that's considered to be what black people do or whatever. And so because of that, we've seen artificial depression of great white players in the NBA. But what I would say is that we look at our European white brethren as proof that this doesn't have to be the case. Like, white American men, look at your European counterparts and understand that there's greatness within you. Embrace it and become our next great NBA players, guys. That's my spiel to the white American male community, fellas.
He's got to clip that. That's hilarious.
And I agree with Woz and have no notes. All right, why don't we get into the draft here? Isaiah, do you have the order for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna spin it live. Let's see. Spinning. First up, Justin, it's you. You are first pick.
Congratulations. I love this. Yeah, who's your first pick, Justin? Oh, wait, do you want to go? We're only allowed to pick 2 euros because, like, at a certain point, we want to highlight some of the great white American players. If we allow euros, like these, quite frankly, these guys are going to be pretty down the list.
Yes,
our fellow countrymen, and so we've limited ourselves to 2 euros per team.
I think we should talk about it at a certain point when we pick the first American player, like how many other euros would have gone before we actually got to that player. I also think there's a little bit of strategy up top, just in the way that you use your 2 euro players.
I would agree.
Who's going to go number 2?
Woz is 2.
Woz is 2. Okay, so unfortunately, Isaiah gets the 3rd spot in a draft in which we have both Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. I'll put my pick up for trade if anyone wants to put an offer out there.
No, we're not trading. Okay. We want to hear you say who your number 1 pick is, Justin.
I think there's only one choice here, and it's not Denny Avdija as much as I'd like to add him to my team. I think it is Nikola Jokic, the not forerunner for MVP anymore, because after Sunday's game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had that big old win against the Denver Nuggets bright and early in the morning. Unfortunately, Jokic's 30-20-20 game just kind of got pushed aside because it happened earlier in the weekend. But I think we're not doing contracts. We're not doing like who you're building from this point forward. It's just we're just drafting teams. And so Jokic, clear and inarguable number 1 pick in this draft.
Yeah, I don't think we need to even harp on this. Like, it's obvious that he's the best player in the league of all backgrounds. And so the idea that he wouldn't be number 1 here is crazy. So it makes sense. My number 2 is going to be just as obvious. It's Luka Doncic. Luka the Don, Hookah Doncic. Still one of the best players, top 10, top 5 players in the league. Didn't look it against Boston. I'll tell you that freaking much.
I know.
He looked like a pumpkin against Al Horford, but still my number 1 pick here today.
Well, how are you feeling about Luka right now? Because as you mentioned, we saw the Lakers go against the Celtics. LeBron going to be out for at least 1 to 2 weeks. I don't know what to think of that injury because he says 1 to 2 weeks, but it seems like it might have been more serious when it first got started talked about. They don't have a center. Jackson Hayes isn't playing tonight. So it's going to look pretty dire for a couple, maybe rest of the season run here. What do you think?
I think Luka, again, I noted to you guys even early on in the trade in our little group chat that he just doesn't look quick. He's not, and again, in the best of times, it's not like he's out, quicking people with an insane first step. It's his pace. It's his change in pace to sort of start and stop. But he's getting by people all the time. And when you're Luka's size and you have his footwork, you get a guy, even an Al Horford on your hip, you get any kind of angle on him, it's over. Right? Like, that's what we've seen when Luka was right in the past. And since he's come back for the Lakers, it's been all jump shots. You can look up his paint scoring. It's not there. Like, he's not getting to the cup. He's making, his nice turnaround, sort of Dirk-ish foul line shot where he kind of elbows the guy, turns around, does the one-legged fadeaway, which is really good at. Obviously, he has the step back 3, but he's not supplementing that with getting to the cup, getting guys on his hip, getting to the line. Hasn't been doing that since he came back. And Boston, I think quite smartly, was like, look, we're sending minimal help. You got to beat the guy that's in front of you. And he just straight up could not do that yesterday. Or Saturday, whenever it was. And so, yeah, I think you should be worried about Luka's mobility, man, on the ball against bigger guys and beating switches going forward. If you're the Lakers, it's just most teams just aren't as defensively talented as Boston is, and you don't really have to worry about it as much. But it was a glaring weakness on Saturday for me.
No one also takes it as personally as Jaylen Brown, that cover. It seemed like he was on another level in that game.
So many times, like embarrassing this kid.
But there was a sizzle reel that someone put out about Luka a couple of years ago. It might even have been last year or the year before that, where he was not only getting to the rim but also dunking on people. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot that he still has that in his bag, just because we've seen pretty much all this season he's been dealing with the strain, and now he's dealing with what seems to be a back issue. He was grimacing before the game. That's always never a good sign. So it might be a slog for the rest of the season. And honestly, this is what we kind of expected when he first got traded there. I think when you saw the combination of him and LeBron in practice, everyone started to get wild fantasies about what they could do this season. I still think that they could be pretty good in the playoffs. Watching that Celtics game, it reminded me that, like, I actually think their deficiencies will be exposed more in the playoffs because of their lack of depth, because of their lack of center rotation, and also the defense. I think you started to see some of the seams in that game where it's just like, oh, you really have to try as hard as humanly possible in order to make this work. But they have been trying of late, and that's why they've been so good defensively. But also, I think a lot of their strengths are going to be highlighted in a playoff series. And so it's a kind of a big give and take. But like LeBron is now hurt, and now Luka, I don't know if they'll get 100% Luka this season. And it's something we have to factor in when we're talking about the Western Conference race.
It's almost like Nico Harrison had a point. To all the freaking armchair GMs out there. This guy, I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's not a complete and utter psychopath. Kernel of information. Idiot. Okay. He's not a complete and utter idiot for his thoughts on moving on from Luka. And again, we got to talk about the Celtics here. And I know we're getting away from the draft, but it matters. Like, it's not just that they have defensive talent. It's not that they have a collective IQ. All of these guys are not just athletically gifted, physically imposing defenders. These guys are smart defenders, nowhere to be at all times. 3, they're combining that with a freaking continuity and a cohesion that's just like, bruh, like this is just the exact worst recipe for somebody who's not completely dialed in and locked in and feeling 100%. And I would say that there's not a team in the NBA that can get within 80% of what the Celtics can do when they're at their best defensively. Like, that's just my opinion. So it's not something to panic about, but goddamn, you got to hate that Celtics matchup for the Lakers, man.
I was watching Al Horford guarding Luka in that game. I'm like, it's been like a decade since he's played in Atlanta. Like, that was the heyday of Al Horford making all-star games regularly. The whatever 60-win Hawks team where they ran a play in the all-star game and everyone's like, this is the magic of team success and having a lock-solid starting 5. Just watching him be able to move with Luka, and obviously Luka was a little hobbled, so Al could use his heft a little bit more. But the fact that he's still doing this at his age is absolutely incredible. Part of the reason why I was a little bit, not down on the Celtics, but I thought that they could be beaten in this year's title race is because Kristaps, again, injured. And so what was going to happen with Al? Eventually he was going to fall off, but the fact that he's playing at this level, I mean, it's tough to really pick against him at this point. Even though, as we're recording this, the Cavs look absolutely incredible. They're winning 14 in a row, but the Celtics just have another level. And like, even Derek White in that game was getting picked on by LeBron James. I don't know if a lot of teams have a guy like LeBron James, including in the Eastern Conference, in order to do that, in order to take advantage of White's size. And so, yeah, I felt really good about the Celtics coming out of that game. I did not feel as good about JJ Redick's light mustache. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Yeah, he's coming for your crown.
Yeah, I thought about you when I saw it.
Like, he seems like he's trying to pilot something, and I just want to say I see him, the mustachioed just round. The council has had a meeting, and I don't feel good about his candidacy. He's not allowed in the mustache crew.
He seems to be waging a cold war against you through the media, through his TV appearances at every single turn, and I personally am here for all of it.
I might have to go with the soul patch just to counter. All right, why don't we get to number 3?
Yeah,
Isaiah, who do you like at number 3?
Yeah, so 3 feels easy to me. That's Franz Wagner. I just think he's by far the next best guy on the board.
So you didn't hem and haw. You didn't think to yourself, like there's somebody else I can take here. No.
No, especially because the wing position is pretty dark in this draft. It's pretty dark.
Ironically, pretty
yeah,
dark, yes.
Yeah, and so I just think like not only is he the best player, but he's by far the best wing.
Yeah.
And so that's where I have to go. And then I get pick 4 as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we got to do snake draft because third pick was tough.
Yeah, this is where like I like definitely him and hawing a little bit. I think I got to go best available though. It's, actually, yeah, fine. I'm taking Chet Holmgren.
Okay. Damn it.
Yeah. There's guards that I don't think will be there by my next pick, but I think Chet's the best guy available.
I like that.
Waz, how does it feel to have Chet flying off the board?
It's tough for me because I thought he might go with the better Euro here.
That's right.
But I understand if you want some better roster balance. Speaking of Luka and the Mavericks, the roster imbalance over there. I understand the Chet pick. Is it my turn to pick?
Yep.
Since Justin went first, I'm gonna go with Lauri Markkanen. He's gonna be my second pick. All-star last year. A bit of a step back this year, but I think it's been by design by the Jazz, to be quite honest with you. I think this guy is legit. I think he's a legitimate, high-level winning player. What he does on the perimeter at his size is crazy. And he's not some minus defender, man. Like, this guy will get after you on defense. I'm not saying he's like, Andre Karolinko or something like that to harken back to one of the great white Euros of yesteryear, but he's not a complete zero on defense. And he's so dynamic offensively, and you can easily play him around, a Luka Doncic, a high possession soaking up kind of wing player, and he just fits in so seamlessly to that. So Lauri Markkanen is my second pick here.
Okay, I like that pick, especially as a compliment to Luka, because Şengün is still on the board, and so for me, have Jokic and and to have baby Jokic would not work. And so it not only is a good pick, I think, but I also think it makes it more complicated for me down here, and maybe even Isaiah, because Franz is good of a creator he is. The shot is still coming along. There aren't a lot of shooters, surprisingly enough, on this Euro board, and which
later
in years past, I think it would have just had an abundance.
For two questions, just rules. We should have got this out of the way at the top, but just rules-based questions. One, Josh Giddey as an Australian is a white Euro, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He's got an accent. We gotta give him that. Okay.
There were a couple of guys I was curious about, actually. Yeah,
and
one of them.
Sabonis, we counted him as American because of Rob last year, but he's a Euro, right?
I think you made that decision. I was
going to say
year.
That was your call, actually. Yeah,
I think
he's born in the States, I believe, right?
He is born in the States.
He's born in America. You know what? He's born in America. Okay,
and I think legal precedence suggests that we have to now make him an American this year. Are there any other guys on the fence here?
Freaking Sam Alito over here.
Yesterday, I found myself Googling, is X player white, more than I really wish I had. But
there's a couple of these guys that I was just going to try to sneak on in. And if anybody questioned it, we do the research on live on air. But yeah, there's a couple of guys where, are we doing, was Dred Scott the fucking dropping the bucket? I forget which case it was, where it's just like, even if you're 1/8 Negro, you can't count as white. So we'll see how that goes going forward.
All right, I'll let you guys set the roll on that one. Man, this is a tough pick because I think the depth at American Big is pretty shallow, but a lot of those guys aren't going to work next to Jokic. And so to have any sort of front core combination at the top of the draft would be hard for me to choose. I'm going to go, man.
He said, "Oh man."
This is really tough. I'm gonna go American, and I'm gonna go with Tyler Hero, just to dip into the top of the wing situation.
Okay.
I need a guy who could shoot playing off of Jokic, and I get another pick right after this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going twice. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm actually gonna go. I'm just gonna take the entire top of my wing board here. I'm gonna also go with Austin Reeves.
No way!
Ooh,
wow,
damn.
I thought I'd get one of those guys. That's crazy.
Tough.
Wow,
that is tough.
I think it falls off pretty markedly right after there. And so to get the probably only two white American creators to play off of Jokic, I'm feeling good about my team.
Yeah, I was going to take them at 4. I was going to take one of them at 4. That's what I was thinking about because I knew the fall off is steep.
Okay. So is it my turn now?
It is. You're in the middle.
Okay. I've got. See, that's the thing when you have Luka. You've got ball handling. You've got distribution. Now I need some. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, I need some defense up here. I'm gonna go with Caruso. Caruso sanity.
Okay.
Wow. Caruso.
Sanity.
That's pretty high for a guy who might be shooting 30% from the floor this year.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
All his shots will be wide ass open, and I can live with that. Just watch the Denver game. It's like, what if he makes 1 or 3? That's good. It's fine. Of completely nobody near you, wide open shots, we just asked 1 of 3, brother, and that's fine. So yeah, Caruso gonna shore up my backcourt and wing defense. And so I like having Caruso here.
Okay. I like that pick.
Not worried about the big man position at all.
Okay.
Yeah, this leaves me a tough spot. I really wanted a guard. I guess I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna go double big here and go Şengün.
I think that makes sense.
Hadn't used your Euro yet.
The second Euro,
The second Euro, okay.
Euro, yeah. So I think I'm going Şengün for that. So Chet and Şengün in front is my front court. I think that can.
Wow,
I think it can work. Yeah, I think it can work. And I think I'm gonna have to get my guy. I think I'm getting Pritchard.
Payton Pritchard.
Yeah,
wow. That is a smart pickup.
Okay. What's like the vibe for Pritchard right now in Boston? Is he on par with like Tatum in terms of celebrities?
I think the statues, got to be on the way. I think.
Okay.
Especially, I have a friend who was at the game when he dropped 40, like just absurd. And like the idea that they traded Smart and this guy was able to just fill in and be just way better is not something I think anybody saw coming.
It's crazy.
And so he's been one of the best players on the team this year. He's been unbelievable.
So what's like the celebrity Boston rankings if we were to do them right now? Is it Tom Brady, Jason Tatum, Payton Pritchard, or?
Yeah, it's probably about right. You might mix in a Bruin maybe. Although Marchand's now gone, and so probably Pasternak's probably in there. But yeah, that's about it. Derek White is pretty damn famous as well.
Really?
He's like insanely loved here. Yeah, he's like most people's like they're like not Tatum or Brown favorite player is Derek White.
Yeah,
so it would be Celtics over Patriots right now. Even like Drake May is just too anonymous right now.
But the Patriots are like horrible.
Yeah, the problem is the Patriots are terrible. Yeah, Drake May
they're not
is
even
loved,
like mediocre.
But yeah, they're just terrible. Drake May is very well loved because he actually looks like he'll be good. But like Celtics coming off a title, they're just definitely higher up.
Payton Pritchard is just the perfect and like he's just a cocky little shit, man.
He is.
Like,
He's incredible.
Scalabrine
can walk around the city and not really get noticed though. Like he's a 6'1" white guy. I think I just saw him walk into the store right now. I could have. Who knows?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Just
be another homie from Southie.
Literally,
Scalabrine said like he's pretty sure that Payton Pritchard thinks within himself that he's better than Steph Curry. Like that's how he carries himself. That's his attitude that he brings to the game. That he's just there's just like nobody fucking with him.
Watch the Tatum buzzer beater dunk at the end of the half. Tatum has already beat his guy to the rim, and Peyton is just jumping up and down, screaming for the basketball at the 3-point line. Like, he 100% probably thinks he's better than Steph Curry. The guy's insane. It's great.
Love that.
One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down a powerhouse. And right now, those upsets can get even better because all this week on FanDuel, if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with a profit boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. And so my underdog pick for today's slate in the NBA, that's on Monday, actually isn't really a total underdog as a team I think we expected to be at the top of the East, but went through some injuries and has been struggling as a result. I like the Orlando Magic plus 4.5 in Houston against the Rockets. Why? Well, the Rockets themselves are now dealing with some injuries. Men Thompson is going to be out for a little bit in addition to some other guys. And so I think Paolo is starting to come back into form. You're starting to see the old Magic start to show themselves. So 4.5, not a huge spread, but I like the Magic in this one. They have more to play for it, especially because I think the Rockets kind of are where they are in the standings. So give me the Magic plus 4.5 in Houston. If you've been waiting to join FanDuel, there's no better time. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. Just visit FanDuel.com/RingerNBA to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day with a profit boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. Must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in DC. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. All right, Waz, you're up with your fourth pick.
I'm going defense again. I got Luka Doncic. I need defenders around what he's doing on the ball, 3-and-D type of guys, and that's why I'm getting the great Christian Brown. Almost called him Braun. I know he changed his name, but Christian Brown to the team. I'm loving this team, by the way.
So I have to point out here that we have gone basically through 4 rounds at this point. I still have to make my fourth pick. We have not picked Domantas Sabonis. In part because I think tactically he wouldn't fit on my team, and I also think he's now tough to fit onto Isaiah's team. And I think Waz just has a full no-go zone on him.
I like centers that can actually help me on defense. I get it. He's a fucking dynamite rebounder, and he deserves credit for that, for being his size and being that good at rebounding. But my center has to contribute to my defense. Period. Yeah. It's not like, I get it. Like, he plays his ass off. He plays really hard. He seems like a great freaking guy, and I bet you all of his teammates love him, but like, no, not for me. Not my type of center. Make big men big again.
I also think this speaks to perhaps the problem with trading him, because it sounds like the way the Kings are going, allegedly he's going to talk with the organization about his future there. But I do wonder, like, he seems like the perfect type of player the Kings need, because he will get them into the play-in mix as long as he's going to be there and in his prime.
Yeah. If not in contention, so long as he's there. Right. And I think there's a value to that for a franchise that missed 17 playoffs in a row, or whatever the hell it was, that they have a respectable team out there. But to me, like, when I look at the centers that are still on the board for me, this guy's, he doesn't rate for me. No, I need defense.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be tough to even try to move on for him. I'm just looking at teams across the league. You really have to orient everything you're doing around bringing out the best of them, which, to the Kings' credit, they did. Right. They got rid of Halliburton, which ultimately proved to be a mistake, but they brought out the best in Sabonis by playing him at center, basically punting defense. And they got to the point where they were in the first round series where they were threatening the Warriors. But I just don't know where he goes from here. Like, I was thinking about it in terms of the Trailblazers, who probably won't be in the mix for a big draft pick in this coming draft, maybe not even the top 10 the way they're playing right now. They actually played the Pistons pretty well last night. And it's like, okay, if you can't draft a star, you got to trade your picks for one, right? And I think Sabonis premise, considering the history with Arvidas, like, oh, maybe he would make some sense, but like trying to glom him onto a roster which doesn't have the shooting first and foremost, but then you also have to punt your defense, and then you're also just like aspiring to the play-in. It's just, he's a tough one. And so I personally can't pick him unless I'm going to bring him off the bench with Jokic already in house. And so, man, I don't know where he's going to go here. And we're going to.
I didn't want to play him at the 4. Yeah, I just didn't want to play him at the 4. I just would have preferred Şengün at the 4 over him, if I was being honest.
And I had Lowry at my 4 man. So
it's tough.
Yeah.
So I'm at a position now where you guys have both drafted your 2 Euros. So Waz has Luka and Lowry. Mm-hmm. Isaiah has Franz and Şengün, which means I don't actually have to pick a Euro until the end of the draft. And so I am in the catbird seat where I could basically wait to pick either. I would say it's Kristaps or Denny would be my 2 picks. I think Josh Giddey, a guy from Australia being naturalized as a Euro, also has to be there, just giving my love for him.
And I think Kristaps can conceivably play the 4 next to Jokic.
Yeah, they go double big.
Yeah.
They can go double big. He could stretch. I don't love the injury history, and so that would be a concern. I don't know how many times they would be able to be in the same court together, but I'll get to that later. So next picks, I'm going to go, let's see here. I'm going to go with Podziemski.
Okay. I like that pick.
Despite Steve Kerr's ire, I feel like we bring him in house, get him under the Jokic wing, and all of a sudden he'll be a little bit more in line. Maybe he won't be doing too many Steph sort of things out there on the court. And then after that, again, the wing depth is quite dire at this point. I'll go Dante DiVincenzo just to keep loading up on shooters who can handle the ball.
Yeah, that's good.
Dante, I definitely considered above Christian Braun just because he has more juice on the ball, like way more juice on the ball. But Christian Braun's just a more tenacious defender, way more athletic. And so, yeah, I'm a defensive-minded, hard-nosed, blue-collar kind of guy. And so I had to get Christian Braun on my team, but Dante definitely thought about him.
All right, Waz, you're up with your, what is this, your 5th
pick? I'm going to finally take a center here.
Okay.
And Walker Kessler as my big. He's going to be my center.
Yeah.
So you're loading up on Jazz players right now. How do you feel about that?
They're 2 players that I actually like. Yeah. I'm happy to do that.
Following Danny Ainge's lead.
I like these 2 guys.
One of the great proprietors of the great white American in the NBA right now. So
I mean, he's one of the pioneers. You got to think he was Peyton Pritchard in the freaking 80s. You feel me? On those Celtics teams. And so he was a mad person. People don't because he played on the Suns after that. And that's my first memories of Danny Ainge was him as a Suns player. But then, you go back and you learn about the role that he played in the 80s Celtics. And it's the guy cursing out Pat Riley, talking shit to Pat Riley out in the press or whatever. This all makes a lot of sense.
All right, Isaiah, you're up with your number 5th pick.
Yeah, so it's thin. I need a 2 or a 3. I'm gonna have to go Grayson Allen.
Yeah. Okay.
I need
He's one of the best guys.
I don't have a Euro. Yeah, I don't have a Euro. I would go bogey, but I don't have a Euro. So
Allen is really in the. He's from the Joe Harris school of shoots close to 50% from 3. We all go wild about how good of a shooter he is. And then he gets a little bit back down to earth. Then we're in the 40s, dipping below, right around the 40 mark. Then it's oh yeah, what else can this guy do? Oh, he can't play defense? It's oh, it doesn't really pass the ball all that well. It's just okay, now he feels like he's having a Joe Harris season for the Suns right now.
I think he gets asked to do too much on the defensive end is why he's egregious. He has to be their best perimeter guy, which is
which he's just
absurd.
not.
Yeah, and so I'm I mean, my 2 guards are Pritchard and Grayson. It's not tremendous point of attack, but they'll play hard and got Chet at the rim. So I'm hoping that covers it up. And Franz is solid, so I think it'll be okay.
Okay,
but I like the shooting because I think he'll get wide open looks.
We've each done 5 picks right now. Isaiah has Franz, Chet, Şengün, Peyton Pritchard, and Grayson Allen. Waz has Luka, Lauri Markkanen, Alex Caruso, Christian Brown, Walker Kessler. I have Jokic, Tyler Hero, Austin Reeves, Brandon Przemski, and Dante DiVincenzo. So we have our starting 5s in theory. Obviously, we can supplement them with these next couple picks. I feel like we have to do full rotation. I think we have to go 10 deep in this.
Sure.
We might be scraping.
I
the
think
bottom
I
of the
got
barrel
10
by the end of
names.
it.
Do we?
My board was top 30.
Yeah, I think.
There's some
I
honorable
can-
mentions. I got some.
But we're getting down to the bone here. But there's still some good NBA players left on this
for
list.
sure. For sure.
There's going to be a real dogfight for Sam Hauser in like the 9th and 10th
I'm
round.
excited.
So
I think it might be sooner, if we're being
Yeah,
honest.
it's sooner than you think.
I think it might be. Yeah. Isaiah, why don't you go with your 6th pick?
Yeah, let's see. 6th pick off the bench. I think I'll go. Sabonis is American?
Who?
Sabonis is
Sabonis
American officially.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I'll
Great.
grab
That is an
Sabonis then. Yeah.
excellent- And so,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's an excellent
pick.
pick.
Shout out Kings
That's
fans.
yeah.
The
Now
sixth
that the
man.
starters are rounded out, he's
So are you bringing him off the bench in this construction?
Yeah, he's not gonna love that, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's coming off the bench. Yeah,
that's an excellent bench pick. So it's my turn here.
Yes, you're in the middle.
Is Ty Jerome white?
no, actually,
He's not.
He is not.
He's
And in
not.
fact, he's one of the people that I did research in
Is
advance of
he-
this
I
draft.
found
Is
this
he
out
mixed
recently.
race?
Yeah,
I believe so.
He's biracial. Yeah,
Tough.
And at that, I think we should not talk about this any further.
Tough. It's in the Blake Griffin category then for me.
Technically,
I was
yes, he
Blake.
is in the Blake Griffin.
the Isaiah Hartenstein category. I think is how
I
it
am.
works.
Yeah, this is easy then because I have no fucking shooting on my team. I gotta go Sam Hauser here. Who is?
I knew he had to go sooner. I knew he had to go
No,
sooner.
no, I have to because he is still fits in with my defensive credo. You can't just isolate on Sam Hauser and think you're gonna destroy him. That's not gonna happen. And so, not calling the guy Scottie Pippen, but the shooting, the defense can mix and match him in my starting lineup if I want to take Caruso out or Christian Brown out or crunch time lineups if I need just a little bit more shooting off the bench. Yeah, Sam Hauser, come on down. Come home
Okay.
to Papa.
Where's okay? Since we're talking about Celtics hierarchy, where's Sam Hauser, Isaiah, in the ranks?
Sam's an interesting one because he was really rough at the start of the year, so I think like his credibility took a hit. But he's definitely like back up, but definitely not in that like elite tier of guys in Boston for sure. But
Fan
like
favorite.
definitely well liked. Yeah, definitely well liked for sure though. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm up with my 6th pick. Again, I do not need to take a European because I can just wait on that for my last
Yeah.
pick, which
Yeah,
gives me a nice little advantage
there's
here.
not a single Euro on this. Let's aside from maybe Chris Stapps that I'm just like, oh, I would love to have them on my team.
I've got
I think
4
there's a couple.
guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
think there's a couple.
There's a couple
I
that
got-
I like, but I'm not like, oh no.
Right.
My
I
top
will
like
definitely
8
be
is
getting.
Euros right now.
Vasily Micic won't be on my team. Oh no.
I might have to take him just for posterity's sake. Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm gonna keep looking at the wing department, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Grady
This-
Dick,
Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
who might have
I
gone
like
a little under
that.
the radar here. I honestly think he would have maybe been a better shooter than your guy Hauser out there. Obviously hasn't had the same.
I don't know about all that, but sure.
second
go ahead.
half. Well, he's a better prospect, I would say. Definitely
yes,
has
he's definitely a
more.
better
Sure.
prospect. He's got
For
more
sure.
ball skills. He's definitely a more well-rounded player, let's say.
Definitely hasn't had the same second half. I think that a lot of people were expected just because he popped off earlier in the season. Him and RJ Barrett had a nice thing going. Looked like he was going to be more than just a shooter, which I think people were excited about. Also pretty long, and the dick jokes just write themselves at that point. But I like him because I'm basically just adding as many shooters as humanly possible. Maybe not necessarily defense. I do think I could use some defense on this team. But shooting around Jokic, I think, is just going to be a formula that leads us to the best offense of these three teams. And I don't have a center, or at the very least, someone who could back up Jokic at this point, so I'm going to dip into the center mix finally here, and I'm going to go with Donovan Clingan.
I knew he was
my
gonna
guy.
pick his Portland.
I knew a Portland guy had to
Portland
go,
brother.
Portland
Okay.
brother, my UConn brother. I gotta say, I've been dinging him earlier this season because he put on a little bit of weight this season, and it was pretty noticeable, and it was affecting some of his movements. I saw him last night before the Pistons game. He's noticeably cut some weight, and he's moving a lot better as a result of that. He still can't play like just a full allotment of minutes. They were in a pretty tight one last night against the Pistons, and Chauncey still leaned on Jabari Walker and Dwap Breath in that game, including Dwap Breath, who missed like 7 threes that could have easily got them back in that. But I just like the potential. Giant shot blocker, and he's the classic, like if he plays 18 minutes behind Jokic, we could finally soak up some of those non-Jokic minutes and have at least be a net neutral on that end. So I like the pick.
Yeah,
Is it my turn?
Waz, you're up. Yep.
Corey Kispert, Eastern Washington's own, is off of my board.
It's a tough one.
Again,
Yeah.
size, shooting 37% from 3. You know, just a little bit of physicality there. I know he's basically an anonymous NBA player because he's played on horrible teams basically since he's been drafted, but the guy can hoop. And theoretically, I probably should have picked him over Sam Hauser, but you know, I'm a slut for the big teams in the NBA, and so I picked Hauser. But yeah, Corey Kispert coming off of my board.
Okay.
I'm liking my wing rotation here, y'all.
Yeah, so you have Caruso, Brown, and Kispert. Oh, and Hauser.
And Hauser. Don't forget Hauser, brother.
Please don't forget.
A lot of hard nose.
A lot of great
point of attack guys. Yeah,
we are scrappy as all hell.
Guys
You
are in
don't
the
want to
gym
go to
early.
the back alley with my team, brother.
That's right. Isaiah, who do you have?
I'm gonna go upside. This guy was born in America. Matas Buzelis.
Okay.
Okay. Wasn't even on my board. I completely forgot about him. I like this guy.
Lucky he's lucky the court saved his birthright citizenship. Or else he would have been out of here.
He's played like pretty well lately, especially since they traded Levine. So I think him coming off the bench is gonna be good. And then
my scouts overlooked him. I didn't even have him on my board because I just took last year's list and just added the guys I know who have come into the league since.
I was scouring every team.
So can I tell you how I did my
please
my big board?
No, this is good. Yeah.
ESPN.com roster page for each team. They have a picture next to each guy's name. And so I'm just scrolling like, nope. Oh, there's damn. Ty Jerome.
So literal racial profiling is that you did your scouting for this draft.
I'm like a state trooper on the highway. I just gotta see a skin color go by me and I just snap them up. Yeah.
Okay. So Buzelis flew under the radar. I do like him as a long-term prospect.
And then another prospect, I'll take Reed Shepherd.
That hurt me. I thought I was gonna get Reed. He is.
I forgot about him. Just saw him again and said, "Yeah, that's my guy."
Yeah.
Wow, this draft class just loaded with American whites. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this draft class, widely regarded as one of the worst in recent memory.
They work hard though.
I like those upside picks. Those are good.
Ooh, it's my turn here. Oh, I know who I'm taking. I'm taking TJ McConnell.
Yeah.
I knew that'd be your guy. Yeah.
I actually need some ball handling outside of Luka Doncic. And TJ McConnell can provide that, change of pace. Again, grit,
He
hard
might be
nose.
the last one. He might be the last ball handler. Like who's American?
There's one more quasi handler up there. You don't want to trust him full time, but he's still there.
Okay. So TJ was what won you the draft in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hometown, that was home cooking for sure.
But you were the only one, I have to give you credit for noticing that and
that was good.
pouncing upon it, where we were all just like deep in the weeds, where it's just like,
come
oh,
on, you gotta play the
can Max
crowd,
Strus like do this or that? But we were live show noobs, where you were.
You gotta make the
experienced
people happy. All right, so
That's
how many
right.
players do I have? 1, 2, 3,
You have
4,
8.
5, 6, 7. Okay. All right.
So you're at 8. So we only have, you guys only have 2 more. I have 3 more here. I am going to go with Max Strus because come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
I thought you was going with him the last pick, but that was smart. Got to get Max Strus.
I'll be honest, my defense is looking quite ragged at this point. And so if Strus might have to, if not start, then be my 6th man or the guy we turn to in crunch time, because we'll need somebody to play nominal 4 for this team. I guess at this point it's between him and Grady Dick, or we'll just go 4 wings and say fucking Jokic will just
you gotta
spread the ball around.
Defense.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep loading up on shooters here. And this most recent draft class, another white American from this. I got to go Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
Steal him from Woz
nice.
before he gets him back with Luka.
He was definitely somebody I was looking at.
Not sure he's like really acquitted himself totally, but like, I mean, especially considering his age, I think people were expecting him to make more of an instant impact, but good shooter. I do think he will be really good in a bench role. So I like him. And if anything, he might be playing 40 minutes tonight with all the injuries the Lakers have.
Yeah.
Okay, that hurt me. I'm going to get a center with my very last pick. So here, I can be a little bit more freaky with it. I definitely need a 3rd ball handler. I don't want to be like the Knicks where I'm just relying on, Deuce McBride who can't dribble for shit, and Cam Payne who's just like, bro, you don't want to really do that. All right, so I need a 3rd ball handler who is respectable, and I'm going with Luke Kennard.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was what you were talking about. Yeah.
Luke Kennard, to me, is the last credible ball handler on the list. Like, literally.
Still a good shooter.
Still a good shooter.
Look at defense.
Yeah.
The defense has gotten better since the days where he was in the bottom 3 in the NBA in defense.
That's true.
Still not what you want, but I admire the improvement, the self-improvement. So Luke Kennard, come on down, is my 3rd ball handler. And a lot of days, he's probably going to handle over TJ. If we're being real. But in the playoffs, I can prioritize. Do I want more defense? Do I want more shooting? Do I want more, gold the other team in the technical fouls? It just depends on what I need in any given individual matchup. And so, yeah, Luke Kennard, come on down.
Optionality is what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's no way Zay picks 3 centers here, obviously. So I still got backup centers left in the holster.
Isaiah, you have your last 2 picks here.
Yeah. I think I'm good at the big man position with Chet, Şengün, and Sabonis. So
that's a great big rotation.
So I'll probably need another wing.
It's getting pretty dire.
It's not great. They're not necessarily what I love here. I'll take Dean Wade.
Okay.
It's not really what I want necessarily, but he can shoot it. He's good size. He can play the 4.
So you like him more than Sam Merrill from the Cavs collection of white
Merrill.
shooters?
I actually forgot about Merrill.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not gonna take him, but I did forget about him actually. And then my last pick, I could do a fun one, or I could do somebody who would actually play. I don't know.
This is your team, man.
Yeah, I think I'll do a fun one. I'll take Mac McClung.
Not on my board.
Not on my board either.
Does he qualify? Are
Two-way
you doing
guy.
2-way spots? Yeah.
I mean, if not,
Bro,
I'll take AJ Green. But I'll take McClung.
You stick that guy in the 5 dunk contests in a row. I'm sorry, he has to at least qualify at this point. Give me a break.
Okay. Well, you were suggesting AJ Green might be your other one. He's definitely someone out there. Milk Jordan. Just
looked at AJ Green for sure.
He dropped like 50 on my school. And I saw him in college and was like, that guy seems really freaking good. And then he got to me. I'm like, I see. I get it now. This wasn't an anomaly.
He gave it to the Bonnies?
Yeah, it was bad. It was crazy.
In college, he dropped 50 on St. Bonaventure.
Something like that,
wow.
at least 40. It was crazy. Crazy
What
game.
would you have to say about that? Was he upset?
I should text him and see. Probably wasn't happy, but I sure wasn't. Yeah, it was a tough one.
This is pre his GM range, so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, my last pick is going to be a big.
Okay.
I'm looking at either Cornette, J. Huff, or Luka Garza. Garza's American, right?
Yeah, I think so. I can double check.
I think so. Why don't you check, Isaiah?
I'm looking right now. Let's see. Luka Garza. He's born in D.C.
Okay.
Jesus.
Born in America.
Good. Yeah.
Born in the USA.
Yeah, American and Bosnian. So yeah, I think you're good.
Okay. But wait, but we decided last draft that Jaquez is not, right? Jaquez is, despite being Mexican. An LA kid. But he's born in LA, right?
But he's Mexican.
I don't know if
he was born in LA.
Too deep in the weeds into this. By our rules, I think Jaquez should have been
an American,
available, but I believe we ruled him out last draft, and so we don't have to.
Yeah, I didn't even think about him. Yeah,
bruh,
he's definitely American.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing with this? I'm gonna go. Yeah, I gotta keep the theme of defense alive. Luke Cornette.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rim protecting big, backup big, off the bench.
Legendary Nick. Legendary Nick.
Legendary Nick. Once a Nick, always a Nick.
That's right. I'll be honest.
Luke Cornette, that's my squad.
I'm stunned that he plays such a pivotal role for such a good team. Like, obviously, when he gets on the court in playoff situations, it's not ideal. But the fact that he could hold his own in these regular season games, he could basically spot for whenever Porzingis isn't there. He's like a solid ass good player, and I'm just
he's
thrilled
become
that he's
very solid.
His career.
Yeah, he used to stink, but now he's a great screener. He's a really good passer from the free throw line spot. He makes quick decisions there, and he rebounds pretty decent, and can block a shot. That's all it takes is a third big.
He's
right?
a body.
Yeah, literally. That's all it takes.
People mocked when he did the Cornette contest. I see a lot of guys in the league doing it now.
Yes.
Faking out to. I seen Evan Mobley can't get out to a shooter, all of a sudden jumping up in the paint trying to do that. I don't know if it works at all, but that is a signature moment for Luke Cornette, and so I'm excited for him. I have the last pick in the draft. I still have one European slot right now, and so I could probably talk through some of the options. Kristaps, I think, is probably the best player on the board.
For sure.
A little bit worried about the fit issues. I think Jokic, of all people, could probably make that work.
Just easily.
Porzingis is just a shooter. I think Denny Avdia is pretty interesting, not only because of my Portland bias, but I also think he's the type of versatile in-between player that Jokic can just breathe another level to in his career. And I've watched him. I think he's actually been quite good. He's a top 100 player on the Ringers rankings right now, in part because he does this wild thing where he just has no breaks, drives into the rim as if he's just ready to run into the crowd. And because of that reckless abandon, I think a lot of good things happen. The defense collapses and he hits guys on the kickouts there. So I really like Denny. Vucevic has to be on the list here. Josh Giddey, as we mentioned, also has to be here. But I'm pretty deep in the backcourt.
Vucevic, he's not on my list. He didn't make my list.
About him.
Zubac definitely needs to be on the list.
Yeah,
Zoo has to be up there as well. That's a good one.
I put Jovic up there, although I knew he wasn't going to be nobody's top two. But I was like, I like Jovic.
Forgot about him actually.
I'm going to go with Avia just because I like the potential there. I know I'll probably
no Kristaps.
Yeah, I think
crazy.
I'll hear from some people about
the unicorn. This man was the unicorn.
Crazy.
Yo, I remember we used to fight about him at Carl Towns. It was like a 5-year fight with him and Carl Towns. And now it's just I don't know, everybody's just kind of accepted that they're both their own player, have their strengths and their weaknesses, and have just moved on.
I think he might have been the original unicorn. Like when
Yes.
Bill started talking about
Yes.
this and we started writing articles about this, I think he was the poster child for unicorns. It's just funny. Like now everybody coming into the league has a 3-point shot. If you're that big, Chet being first and foremost the prime example of that. So you're right. But I feel bad about it, but I also think Avdia can start in a way that puts Jokic at his natural position, keeps him at center, allows him to still be big while the rest of the perimeter defenders do their thing. So just to go through the teams in totality right here, my team is Nikola Jokic, Tyler Hero, Austin Reeves, Brandon Pajemski, Dante DiVincenzo. On the bench, Grady Dick, Donovan Clingan, Max Strus, Dalton Connect, and Denny Avdia, who will probably start. So just to factor that in there. Waz's team, Luka Doncic, Lauri Markkanen, Alex Caruso, Christian Brown, Walker Kessler, Sam Hauser, Corey Kispert, TJ McConnell, Luke Kennard, and Luke Cornett.
That is a squad, boy.
It's a squad. I don't know. Not a lot of athleticism, I would say, in that squad. They can guard.
We can guard, bro.
You can guard, The
shooting is here. But
you have a vision.
Oh,
yeah.
The guarding.
I see the identity.
Isaiah is Franz Wagner, Chet Holmgren, Alperen Şengün, Peyton Pritchard, Grayson Allen, Domantas Sabonis, 6th round draft pick. Feeling good about that one. Mattis Bazelis, Reed Shepard, 2 good recent rookies back to back. Dean Wade and Mac McClung, who at the very least will get you another dunk contest.
Our vibes guy. Yeah.
Those are the teams. Maybe we put this up to a vote for some of the social media people to see who won this. I'll be honest, I feel fucking good. But I also think I got Jokic, which is like a massive advantage in this game. But then I corner the market on guys who can actually dribble, pass, and shoot. And so I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, my team is heavily dependent upon Luka Doncic's calf muscle not snapping in half. That is for sure. It is heliocentric as all fuck. But shit, man, he's 25 years old. And that's going to be his job on this team.
Isaiah, how are you feeling?
I like my team, especially like at the 3rd pick. I'm not getting a top 5 player in the NBA. But I think I ended up with a good team. Yeah, I think I ended up with a good team, though. I think Chet's got to come in ready to work.
He's got to come to shoulder a burden.
Yeah, defensively, it's not going to be ideal, I don't think. Because like my guards are like 6'2", but I think I've got enough shooting. I think I got some athletes off the bench, and like Sabonis, I think is just going to be an unbelievable 6-man. I just think he's going to come in and dominate second units.
Yes,
and I think I have plenty of playmaking. Like I think guys are going to get open shots. I don't think I have a single guy who can't pass. So I think we'll be all right.
I was saying
maybe Grayson coming in can't pass, but
yeah, don't rely on that.
Yeah, he can't pass.
I came into the draft thinking that Chet was going to be the swing player in this because I think he's very clearly the best white American player.
Yeah.
And so whomever was going to jump ahead and get him before they dipped into their second Euro, I think was going to have a major advantage. In part because he's also one of the few players on this board in the front court who could meld with a lot of the bigger players that we have here. And so if I have Jokic, I want Chet first and foremost to be that nice front court balance. And so getting him and then Şengün, I thought was pretty inspired. So those are the teams.
And look, we took this semi-seriously, but I would encourage our listeners, while they're listening to this pod, to also have the Hulk Hogan theme song music coming in. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. You got to be playing that while you listen to this podcast, man. Or at least have it on in the background just to look at Hogan ripping his T-shirt off and being a real American.
I think that's the drop for next year. We used Eminem for the live one. I think it's Waz singing "I Am a Real American."
Yeah, I'll cut that
for next year's draft if we aren't fired before then. All right, why don't we wrap it there? Isaiah, thank you for joining us for part 2 of the American draft.
Exciting! I was excited to do it. It was great.
Yes. Thank you to Isaiah also on production, and thank you to Ben Cruz on the video side of things. We'll be back on Thursday with Rob to bring back a semblance of normalcy. We will talk to you then. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.